Hello and welcome to the Bard College campus tour. My name is Mackie Siepens. I'm the Director of Admission and I graduated from Bard in 2012. In a couple of moments, I'm going to hand you over to Tessa, who's going to guide you to parts of campus. On the campus tour, you're going to meet faculty, staff, and students who will talk to you a little bit more about what it feels like to be a student here in Annandale-on-Hudson. Before I do that, I'm going to introduce you to Bard and the Bard Network. Bard's Annandale-on-Hudson campus is an hour and a half north of New York City on a large 1,000-acre campus overlooking the Hudson River and the Catskill Mountains. This campus hosts 1,900 undergraduate students, but Bard works with 6,000 students worldwide through our local, national, and international programs, partnerships, and campuses. Our 5 campuses and partnerships outside the United States are in St. Petersburg, Russia, Vienna, Austria, Berlin, Germany, Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, and on the West Bank. Bard students can use these programs for study abroad opportunities because the Bard credits transfer. You can also study in any other study abroad program you want to. You do not have to stay within the Bard network. Nationally, Bard runs 8 public high school early colleges across the United States, which are designed to support access to rigorous high school curricula. Students at our early college high schools graduate from high school with their diploma, as well as an associate's degree taught by college faculty tuition-free. We also run the largest college degree-granting prison education program in the United States, called the Bard Prison Initiative, which was started by students in 1999 and is still run by one of those co-founders today, 20 years later, from the Annandale-on-Hudson campus. If you want to learn more about this program, there's a documentary on BPI called College Behind Bars, which was released in 2019 with executive producer Ken Burns. Civic engagement is a really important part of the Bard curriculum. Over 75% of students here on the Annandale-on-Hudson campus are actively engaged with civic engagement programs. Many of them were started by students through our Trustee Leader Scholar program, like the Bard Prison Initiative. So now I'm going to hand it over to Tessa to start the tour.
Hi everyone, my name is Tessa and I'll be guiding you through this tour. I just recently graduated this past May here at Bard, and I've worked as a tour guide for the last 3 years. A few other things I've done on campus since I've been a student here is working for our Center for Civic Engagement, as well as working at and playing soccer at our athletic center. I've gone abroad twice, and I can't wait to tell you about those experiences as well. Behind me, you'll see the beautiful Hobson Cottage, which doubles as our admissions building on our 1,000-acre campus. We're going to take our next stop up at the Blythewood Mansion, which is only about a 7-minute walk from here. It's beautiful, it has an Italian garden, and it overlooks the Catskill mountain range as well as the Hudson River. I'm going to hop on our golf cart and we're going to go up there. Let's go. As you guys can see, we've now arrived at the beautiful Blythewood Mansion, which, as I mentioned before, also doubles as our Levy Economics Institute, where students take economics classes during their undergraduate years, but also where they can attend graduate school. I promised you some beautiful grounds, so let's go see the view. We have our beautiful Italian garden behind me, set with a beautiful view of the Catskill mountain range and the Hudson River, where our campus sits. We're next to the preserved Tivoli Bays, as well as an island that is a bald eagle sanctuary. Actually, speaking of really cool places on campus, Mackie, I want to talk about one of my favorite summer spots that's kind of hidden away.
There are so many amazing places on campus, but I think I know where you're going. Are you heading to the waterfall?
Yep, the waterfall. Let's get back into the golf cart and take a ride down there. Now you'll see a building behind me coming into view. This is the location that used to be Bard's pool. Now the Bard farm uses it as an on-campus location to grow mushrooms. we're going to go a little bit farther below and show you the beautiful waterfall that we treasure here on campus. All students are required to come to campus and do a program called Language and Thinking, which is our first pillar in the BARD curriculum. This program is a 3-week writing and reading course where you'll be exploring topics like politics, history, literature, and a lot of other humanities topics through an anthology, a book of different types of literature, all printed out for you to read from. These topics will be explored in small classes with visiting professors leading the conversations. You'll be doing a lot of free writing, and you'll be required to write a short essay at the end. None of this is graded. It's all pass-fail, so don't worry about it. It's really an introduction to BARD and the standards that we have for your writing and reading going forward in your next few years.
Thanks, Tessa. First Year Seminar, or FISEM, is the second of BARD's 5 academic traditions. It's basically BARD's Great Books course and includes literature, poetry, philosophy, politics, and other works. Students complete First Year Seminar in both the first and second semesters of their first year, and it's reimagined every couple of years to make sure it's considering global challenges, politics, human rights, and other movements. The classes are small, at around 12 students, and each class is taught by a faculty member in a different field. You might find yourself in a FISEM class taught by a professor of physics, or music, or anthropology. So while you're reading the same texts as everyone in your first year class, the class discussion may move in a different direction based on the 11 or so other students in your class and on your faculty members' expertise, which brings an important additional layer to the course. Handing it back over to you, Tessa.
Yeah, Mackie, we've just arrived here. I'm at Blum and Avery. It's 2 buildings that house our film program and our music program. Lola's here to tell us a little bit more about it.
Hi, Tessa. My name is Lola. I recently graduated from BARD College with a joint degree in film and studio arts. So I'm actually standing right outside of the film building now. This is where I took a lot of my classes as a student. You can study everything from film production to history here with a wide range of subjects including animation, digital, 16mm film, and even screenwriting, and so many more. And then next to me we have the music building, Blum. They're situated next to each other because there's a lot of collaboration between these 2 subjects. So here students can study different types of music, including jazz, contemporary, classical, electronic, and several others. So this is where you'd complete a 4-year music degree instead of BIDO, which is a 5-year degree. And I think Rhea can talk more about that. Hey, Rhea.
Hey, Lola, how are you? Let me show you the conservatory. Hi again. So here we are at the conservatory building. Here in the conservatory, we are all participating in a 5-year double degree program, which means we are all working toward 2 degrees at the same time within 5 years. My conservatory instrument is the flute, and my second major is written arts. I chose a double degree program because I believe every musician can and should benefit from the perspective a second major can bring into their lives. Let's ask Jingi what her experiences are.
Hello, I'm Jiang Li, a rising senior in the BARD Conservatory. So my majors are math and piano performing. And unlike the other conservatory across the world, BARD may be the only one that requires the conservatory student to do double degrees, not only pursuing our music career, but also exploring more potentials and possibilities of our lives. And that's exactly why I came to BARD. I'd like to keep my career options open, and in this way I can still be stepping forward, making progress, and challenging the limits. And that's it for the conservatory part, and please enjoy the rest of our tour.
Jungli, thank you for sharing that information with us. Hey Tessa, can you give me a ride to the Study Abroad office?
While you make your way to the Study Abroad office, I'll talk a little bit more about the Study Abroad opportunities at BARD. In the introduction, I mentioned the BARD network. You can use any of BARD's campuses and partnerships to study abroad, but you can also work with the Study Abroad office here on campus to find other opportunities for you outside the network. Bard also has 12 different languages, and some of those languages include a language intensive, where students travel to the place where the language they're learning is spoken. This usually happens in the summer and winter break. For those who want to travel as early as their first year, the Annandale-on-Hudson campus offers admitted students the chance to begin their program in Berlin through our Begin in Berlin program. Our Bard College Berlin campus has L&T and first year seminar, so you won't miss out on any of those first year experiences. I also want to mention our Bard Globalization and International Affairs program, BGIA. For students who don't want to travel too far away from Annandale-on-Hudson, this might be a good option because you end up spending a semester in New York City. BGIA allows students to build work experience right into their curriculum. Students do internships by day and take classes in international relations at night. Students intern at places like the UN, Planned Parenthood, and Human Rights Watch, among other organizations. Tessa, I know you and Lola had some great experiences traveling abroad inside and outside the Bard network. I'll hand it over to you to talk a little bit about those respective programs.
I went to Italy, and there I really focused in my area of study and found a bunch of different classes that were really catered to my interests. I ate all semester, and I studied the food I was eating, and it was an amazing time. We have other study abroad programs here. Maybe Lola can tell us a little bit more about them.
Thank you, Tessa. I studied abroad through the language intensive, so this was a class that I took while at Bard, aimed to get students at least 50% proficient in a language in only one semester. So as you can imagine, it's a very rigorous and demanding class. But then afterwards, during the intersession, you get to spend a month in whatever country that language is spoken in. So I studied Spanish and then studied for a month in Oaxaca, Mexico, and just experienced true language immersion, and it was a really good way to help me perfect my skills in the language.
Thanks, Tessa. Thanks, Lola. Now let's bring it back to Annandale-on-Hudson to talk a little bit more about residence life and peer counselors.
Thanks, Mackie. I've just pulled up to our beautiful quad, and I'm here to talk to Sam and Justin about their experiences as being peer counselors.
Thanks, Tessa. Yeah, like Tessa said, my name is Justin. I am a graduate, but I was a PC here in Tewksbury. A peer counselor is what a lot of other institutions may call an RA, or resident advisor. But we've changed the terminology here at Bard because our positions in the residence halls are so much more about supporting students, particularly in the first year experience in transition, as opposed to watching someone in the residence hall and making sure that they're behaving appropriately. We hold events, we build community in our residence halls, but Sam would have a lot more to say about being a PC as well.
Thanks, Justin. My name is Sam, and I was actually the peer counselor of these first-year residence halls, the new toasters over here. So when Justin said community, I want to talk a little more about what explicitly that means. So for me, for example, with first-year residence halls, I like to put on water balloon fights in August, put on Mario Kart tournaments, and also just bring around donuts, especially when people sign up for their classes. But simultaneously, there's lots of peer counselors putting on lots of events. So if you don't like doing those, there's tons of other events that I'm sure that you would enjoy. Simultaneously, that kind of event planning goes on throughout the whole year, right? So maybe in the fall, there's apple cider and donuts or things like that. And simultaneously, some of those events are more around you getting to know more about the college. So learning about EMS, which is the sort of student-centered health services or things like that.
Now that we've spent some time on the quad, might as well bring you over to our campus center to talk to my friend Giovanni about our career development office. Hey Giovanni, how's it going?
Hey Tess, what's going on? Hi everybody, my name is Giovanni Suriel. I'm the director of the Career Development Office and Assistant Dean for Civic Engagement. Some of the things we do out of the Career Development Office is help you understand how to translate your liberal arts education to the workplace. So we do that in a couple of different ways. We work with you to get your professional documents online. That's your resume, your cover letter, your networking strategy, interview prep, things like that. But we also work to help you land internships, job opportunities, and local volunteer or experiential learning opportunities in the community. To learn more about student activities, I'll pass it over to my colleague Cynthia.
Thanks, Giovanni. Hey y'all, my name is Cynthia Cunningham. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Assistant Director of Student Activities here at Bard College. We are located on the second floor of the campus center, and we are your one-stop shop for all things student club and student event related. We also oversee the campus center, which is this lovely building behind me. Inside, you will not only find our office and Giovanni's office, but you will also find the TLS office, the campus bookstore, the post office, down the road cafe where you you can get a quick bite to eat, and you'll also find the information desk. I know this is a lot of information, and so if you're ever in the campus center and you don't really know where to go, just go by the info desk, because that is staffed by one of our OSA student leaders, and they can answer any of your questions that are related to the center or student activities in general. One of my favorite things about student activities is that we have over 150 active student clubs and organizations. This means that you can find just about anything that you're interested in, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons, alternative history, K-pop, or even some of our more cultural affinity clubs, such as our Asian American Student Organization, our Latin American Student Organization, and Queer People of Color. Speaking of student clubs, I actually see one of our student leaders coming our way.
As student body speaker, I'm one of 8 individuals that heads a committee on student government, ranging from student life to educational policies, ensuring that students' concerns are brought to the administration and dealt with. We also host town halls, or what we call general assemblies, to make it so that students are in one place voicing any sort of concerns or anything they would like changed directly to the administration.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to give Tessa a couple of minutes to get to our science building, which is our next stop, and it was designed by Raphael Vignoli. Our next academic pillar is citizen science, which takes place in January and is designed to give students science literacy skills regardless of their major. Students complete this program by choosing one of 4 strands through which to engage with citizen science, which ensures they develop science literacy and critical thinking skills without straying too far from what might interest them most. The strands are named as follows: research, education, communication, and community action. Citizen science takes place during the Martin Luther King Jr. National Holiday, so our Center for Civic Engagement builds a number of related community programs around citizen science as well.
That was a lot of great information about citizen science. And I have to say, it was one of my favorite few weeks here on campus. I learned about the microbiome when I was here, but now we have the different strands for first years to choose from. And I've had the pleasure of helping plan the education strand. I've worked as a science outreach fellow for the Center for Civic Engagement, and one of my duties each fall semester was to come up with a lab with 6 individuals from the undergraduate studies across all divisions here at Bard. And the sciences here are really great. Citizen science is only one aspect. And look, here comes Brooke Jude. She's a professor here who runs the Houses program and is a professor in science.
Hi, Tessa. Yeah, I'm Brooke Jude. I am an associate professor of biology here at Bard, and I do run the Bard Houses program. It's a program we started about 3 years ago, and in it, all students are welcomed into what we call a house led by one of 4 faculty members and their families. We live on campus, we eat in the dining hall, we go to sporting events and concerts. We have students come into our house for cookie baking and TV watching sessions. We have movies in our fire pit in our backyard with s'mores. And all of this is done so that we let students know and show them that they have a place, a space, a home here at Bard the second they walk onto campus. So here at Bard, I am a biology professor, and the best part is I work in this beautiful building. My office is here, my lab is here. I study bright purple bacteria that live in the waterways, and students work on that project with me. And my house is just up the road, so it's about a 2-minute walk. I walk in the morning, and I'm able to teach classes and do research here with students in a really amazing STEM program. So here, as you heard, we start science in the first year with citizen science, and our students are able to engage in high quality, cutting edge research with faculty from the second they walk onto campus. They're able to work on primary literature, understanding what it means to look at evidence, gather evidence, evaluate it, and know what the decisions they should make in their everyday lives. And that's for all students, not just majors. But if you're a science major here at Bard, we have a program that gets you set up so that you're able to take classes that get you perfectly ready to go on and do whatever it is that you want to do next after leaving here. If that's going to graduate school, getting a job as a science writer, a science teacher, or even going on to pre-medical programs or medical school and other types of graduate programs, we can get that ready for you. We're able to balance the requirements that you need in order to have everything ready for you to go on and do the next thing in your life. We have students every day who are applying to and getting into these programs, and we love nothing more than hearing from them after they've graduated and having our students come back and tell us all the amazing things that they're doing. So with that, I've got to run, but it's good to see you, Tessa.
Thanks, Brooke. That was a great description of the science programs here at Bard. And as someone in an interdivisional major like environmental and urban studies, I've experienced firsthand how multidimensional the science classes here really are. Let's hop back on the golf cart. Oh look, hey Michelle.
Oh, hey Tessa.
How's it going?
It's going good. I'm actually heading down to Fisher Studio Art Building.
Oh, let me give you a ride.
While they're heading down to the Studio Arts building, I'll talk to you about the 10 distribution requirements. Alongside the 5 academic traditions, students must take one class in 10 different fields. This is to make sure that students are putting different lenses on their passions and proposed major or majors. Students can fulfill these distribution requirements in lots of different ways. Faculty and their programs are divided into divisions, not departments, so faculty collaborate across different fields to create really interesting programs. Examples of cross-listed classes include acoustics, which is a physics class musicians like to take since it studies the physics of sound, the chemistry of black and white photography, the chemistry of paint, and mathematics and politics. I'm going to hand it over to Tessa and Michelle to talk to you a little bit more about the distribution requirements.
Thanks for the ride, Tessa. So, speaking of distribution requirements, I actually have a sort of funny story to tell. I'm an illustrator and a studio art major, so I've never had the strongest background in the maths or the sciences or anything STEM related for that matter. So when it came time for me to take my math distribution requirement, I was a little bit intimidated, but I ended up looking at the course list and finding a cross-listed course that was listed under computer science, but it also satisfied my math requirement. It was a gaming coding class, and it was a really great class. It was really fun, and the two best things about it were that not only did it take out my math distribution requirement, but it also gave me the tools to be able to potentially make an interactive digital coded artwork piece in the future.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm going to take a moment now to talk about Bard's 4th academic pillar, moderation. Moderation is Bard's version of declaring a major, and students write 2 papers, one reflecting on their past years at Bard, and one looking towards the future and senior project. A 3rd component is also included, which is specific to a student's major. All of these are presented to a board of 3 faculty members called your moderation board, and a conversation around these happens with students for about an hour. Tessa, your next stop is Central Campus, so I'm going to hand it back over to you.
This part of campus has some really important buildings. Behind me is Ludlow. It has some really important resources and offices in it here at Bard. Here comes Phil. Maybe he could tell us a little bit more about it.
Hey Tessa! Hey everyone. My name's Phil, and I'm a recent graduate of Bard College. I graduated with a degree in theater and performance, and while I was on campus, I got involved in a ton of different clubs, and honestly, totally recommend everyone does. It's like the best part of the Bard experience. But while we're here, there's a few different student resources that I'd like to talk about, so bear with me while I mention them all. First, I'll talk about Ludlow, which is the building that Tessa just mentioned. It's most importantly, probably because it's where our registrar is housed, so you'll be taking tons of classes while you're here on campus, and that's, of course, the place where you sign up for courses. But then additionally, the president, his office is actually housed in that building. The other resource that's behind me I'll talk about is Sottery Hall, which is right over that way. Now, that's where our deans are housed. We have deans of students, we have deans of academic affairs, all types of deans for all different types of resources you may have. So if you're ever needing any type of administrative help with any of your academic or just campus life affairs, usually the deans are a really good place to start, and they're super helpful and super hands-on and are eager to help all the students that are here. If we'll walk this way, and I'll point out a couple more things. Firstly is Aspinwall, which is this beautiful red brick building here. Now, this is where plenty of professors have their office hours. Not all of them, but many are in this building here. Professors are required to have 2 office hours per class that they have. At least they can do more than that if they'd like. but that's the bare minimum. And our professors also employ something called an open door philosophy, which basically means that when they're in their office, their door is open so that there's as little of a barrier between students and them and the communication between students and professors as possible, which is something most of our professors really care about. I learned so much outside of the classroom just through professors' office hours and really valued all the time I spent talking to them. And the last thing I'll mention in this very important area of campus is Stone Row, which is this beautiful ivy-colored building here. Bard has over 40 dorms on campus, and they all range a ton in size, from like a dozen students to 250 or so, and there's plenty in the middle. Stone Row, despite it being one of the older buildings we have on campus, is actually one of the most highly sought-after dorms because, well, it's beautiful and it's really lovely inside as well, but also because of the location. Most classes are taught in this area, so you can kind of just wake up and 10 minutes later you're in class. Tessa, do you want to take us around the corner so we could check out the quad in Stone Row?
Sure.
And the Learning Commons?
Let's go. Hop on the golf cart.
Awesome. I think that Deirdre's going to be there and she could talk to us about advising.
Sounds good. Here we go.
So this area is now the back of Stone Row, and like I said, I want to mention the Learning Commons specifically, which is this resource right here. The Learning Commons is our centering for tutoring on campus. And one of the things that I find most valuable about the Learning Commons is that all of the tutors are actually students. So you can get some really good, insightful information from them when it comes to like, oh, you're working on an essay for a specific class. Even when I felt confident about a paper, I said, well, I might as well bring it to the Learning Commons. It's free. It's an opportunity we have here. So totally recommend using this as a resource. Oh, great. And right on cue, here's Deirdre.
Hey, Phil. It's really nice to see you all and to have a minute just to talk with you a little bit about academic advising at the college, or advising in general. Every student, when they arrive at Bard, is assigned a faculty advisor. From the minute you go through your first registration experience, you are working closely with someone who's very experienced, understands the curriculum, and can help you wend your way through your course selection to having a very, very good start to your Bard time. By the end of the second year, you're a sophomore too, you're getting ready to moderate. That experience is really important and essential to our students because they sit with their faculty advisor and 2 other faculty members and spend an entire hour just talking about what they've done and what they're looking forward to accomplishing in their next 2 years. It's a very, very important and formative conversation. As a junior and then as a senior, you're going deeper, doing more advanced work in your area of concentration. And by the time you're a senior, you work one-on-one in weekly sessions with your senior project advisor, who effectively becomes your faculty advisor in that final 4th year. And I like to say to my students that once you have me as an advisor, I'm your advisor for life. We love to stay in touch with students, help them navigate things like grad school applications, professional school applications, also getting that first job. We're here for you. We're here to share resources and point you in the right direction. And long afterwards, we welcome you back to campus to share your experiences, not only with us, but also with the students who are following in your footsteps. In addition to having a faculty advisor, you have a wealth of resources in terms of advising at the college, whether that's your class dean, who's always there to help with kind of connecting the dots between personal life, wellness issues, and your academic work, to the Office of Disability Resources and Accessibility. Our new director, Erica Vandervelden, is there to help with making sure accommodations are made to support every student in learning at Bard. So advising is a big part of that picture. It's very one-on-one, it's very personal, it's very much part of who we are.
That's great, Deirdre. Tessa, where's your next stop?
So, Mackie, we've pulled up here to the old gym and security building. The old gym is one of the students' favorite spaces, and Allie's here to tell us more about that. And John Gomez, the head of security, is also here, and he's going to explain a little bit more about what security does here.
Hi, Allie. Hi, Tessa. My name's Allie, and I'm a rising junior at Bard College and one of the 3 old gym heads, so let me tell you about the old gym. The old gym is the only student-run theater on Bard's campus and has the capabilities of a black box theater. We have a lighting grid, sound system, carpentry shop, and costume shop all in the gym. We do about 10 to 14 shows a semester. That's anything from circus shows, plays, musicals, dance shows, galleries, and haunted houses. It's a great way to learn some backstage tech and also to get involved on Bard's campus. We also share our building with the security office, and John Gomez is here to talk more about that.
Hi, Allie. Hi, Tessa. Hi, my name is John Gomez. I'm the security director. I've been here for 2 years. We have a staff of 25 guards and dispatchers. We're here 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We have a security patrol that covers the entire campus. We also provide dispatch, and we bring EMS to any EMS calls on campus.
Thanks, Allie. Thanks, John. Tessa's over to our next stop, so back to her.
Here we are at the campus's main dining hall, Klein Commons. We have a few dining options on campus. One at our dorm called Manor, where we have a buffet style and also a grill for you to get custom-made food on. We also have down the road Cafe, which is kind of like a grill, but they only do custom-made sandwiches or things to go. Healthy eating at Bard and sustainability in our food system is really important. It's something I studied and something that we have a committee of students here for to make decisions about our dining hall.
And just jumping in here, the Bard Farm produces about 20,000 pounds of produce for our main dining hall every year. Klein Commons is also really great about tailoring options for special requests, food allergies, halal and kosher dining, and also vegetarian and vegan options. Over to Tessa for the next stop.
This is our Center for Experimental Humanities, which is one of our concentrations here at Bard. It's fairly new, just like this building behind me. Allie is going to tell us about another really interesting program that Bard just introduced as a major to our students. Take it away, Allie.
Architecture here at Bard is a non-pre-professional program, and it mixes visual arts and environmental and urban studies to create architecture that is for the public good in public spaces. Classes that I really enjoy are classes like Contested Spaces and Architecture as Media. Like I said before, architecture here at Bard is a non-pre-professional program, but if you want to go down that route for graduate school, you can take classes like calculus and physics, and all of the architecture professors will advise you on what best to do.
Thanks, Allie. I'm gonna hit the gym next, but not to work out. I'm gonna meet up with some student athletes and someone who actually works in the gym to tell us more about athletics at Bard.
Hi everyone, my name is Siren Chen. I am a rising senior joint majoring in Global and International Studies and Economics here at Bard. I'm also a member of the women's squash team. Squash actually really helps me to balance between academics and athletics, helping me to structure my schedules better. And during the season, I usually come here 2 hours a day in order to practice for my matches. And our facilities are actually not just for the use of students. So there's Tyron, and he can actually tell us more about how our facilities are used since he's the head of our community fitness program.
Hey, my name is Tyron Stevenson. I am the head of the community fitness program at Bard College, and the community fitness program is responsible for 3 main tasks. The first task is providing non-student athletes with activities to do in the athletic center, including night classes that are led by students, and that would include MMA practice and kickboxing and hip-hop dance class and things of that sort. During the day, we have Zumba and yoga and TRX. And outside of that, we also have a fully stocked weight room. We have 2 instructional classrooms, a swimming pool, and a cardio area. Lastly, we're responsible for health initiatives around campus, such as getting people to eat better or stretch more and things of that nature. That's all I have. Thank you, and be well. Gracias.
Siren and Tyron, that was awesome. Thanks a lot for sharing that information. Tessa's over to the library now to talk to Betsy about Senior Project. Senior Project is the 5th and final academic tradition that students complete here at Bard. It looks different depending on your major.
Hey there, Betsy. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about senior projects here at Bard and where you keep them in the vault under the library.
Hi, Tessa. I would love to. It's great to see you again. Hi, I'm Betsy Colley. I'm the Director of Libraries. Why don't you join me inside the library and we'll take a look at some of our senior projects. This is a place where we work with students year-round to help them find the materials that they need for their coursework, to help them discover their interests, to find inspiration, to come across new ideas, and it's our great good pleasure to do so. And there's no point in your career here at Bard in which all of this really comes into play. No more perfect point than at your senior project. And while we love working with undergraduates, there's something very special about working with seniors who've found a way to synthesize all the different things that they've learned over time and all their interests to create a senior project that's really unique, not only to them, but also to the research community. So come this way, I'll show you the vault. So this is the section of the library in which we keep our senior projects. They're locked up because these are archival materials. We have them from about the 1930s until last May. And we cover every conceivable type of research in here. We have science senior projects. We have the ephemera that surrounds a performance senior project. We have senior projects in photography. We have senior projects in art. I think maybe the most interesting projects that we work with students on are those projects where they're pulling from multiple disciplines to create something new. So sometimes you'll have an art history major who's looking at a particular topic from a human rights point of view. When those things come together to synthesize, perhaps around an idea that a student has been really particularly inspired by, either from their life outside Bard or from the work that they've done and the experience that they've lived here at Bard, that's often the most exciting projects for students to work on and for us to help with.
Thanks, Betsy. Tessa's joined Erin Canan over at the Center for Civic Engagement, so I'm going to hand it over to Erin.
So you want to know a little bit about the Center for Civic Engagement, which is this beautiful building, which is a little hot this summer. The Center for Civic Engagement is the umbrella organization on campus that links the very local Annandale student to the broad national and international network. And we do this really, I would say, in three ways. We offer pathway for engaged citizenship beyond the sort of legal meaning of citizenship by providing a network, by providing opportunity, and providing skill training. And this is all in sort of readiness to launch you into the world. But we start that launch really here. So I thought the most helpful way to describe what it is that we would do with you when you arrive is to talk about it as the arc of what it is that we do. So you arrive on campus, first day, and you register to vote. And then from there, during L&T, you might do an engagement. You might go to the farm and you might talk to the farmer about farming practices and food insecurity in the Hudson Valley. And then pick some food and learn a little bit about the food systems here. And then you'll register for classes, and you may register for an engaged liberal arts and science class. You may register for a network class in which civic engagement is a core part of that curriculum. You'll return for citizen science, and during citizen science, not only will you examine the role of what science is in the world and how it impacts community and helps community, but you'll participate in the Martin Luther King Day of Service, in which you might take a workshop on leadership. And then in the spring semester, you might join something called a TLS project, or Trustee Leader Scholars Project, and where over 45 students who are leaders with community partners, either locally, nationally, or internationally, run student-led initiatives to address community needs. So maybe you'll go weekly and start to tutor with children, or you'll join the Science Outreach Initiative that we sponsor through the Center for Civic Engagement, or you'll get involved with elections at Bard and start to get students registered to vote. And then you may apply to one of our conferences internationally. You may present at one of those conferences. In your junior year, you may decide to study abroad at one of Bard's campuses. And then in your senior year, you may link this all up to your career or to your senior project by attending something called the Bard Works program, where you'll meet people in the alumni network and the family network. And now that you've met people internationally through your classes, through the opportunities that we provide, you've developed a sense of skill to act in the world, We then see you off at graduation, where we feel that you're prepared to address what's coming for you, either in your career, your choices to engage in community, either as a volunteer or beyond. And so the ARC is really about that engaged citizenship and what it is to be a global citizen.
Thanks, Erin. The CCE is a really important office here on campus, and it's so big, covering so many areas of civic engagement. Cami, could you also tell us a little bit more about the CCE? Maybe about ELAS classes and TLS?
Hi everyone, my name is Cami Jones. I serve as the Associate Dean of Experiential Learning and Civic Engagement at BARD. I actually oversee a program called Engaged Liberal Arts and Science, also known as ELAS. This program gives students an opportunity to connect hands-on skill-based learning through the classroom while engaging with local community leaders and experts in their field of study. The great thing about the ELAS program is that it links critical thinking skills, engagement activities, and your curriculum to provide for the community. And I can't think of a better opportunity than now to do that. Maybe you're interested in food microbiology and social justice. Or maybe you want to delve a little bit more and think about how you can create science kits for kids in the community. Or maybe you want to amplify women's voices and you want to provide a platform for women to engage and really think about their positionality of leadership and how they can make an impact in their communities, not only locally, but globally. And maybe you'll take it one step further and you're like, I want to create my own nonprofit. We actually had a group of students do that, and it's called Thrive on Kingston, which is now a sustainable nonprofit that is helping the homeless community in Kingston, New York, and is definitely a sustainable model that we see being integrated in communities in the Hudson Valley and beyond. These are only examples, but I think about those successful projects that students have done and how you may join their legacy.
Thanks everyone for all that great info. Next stop, we're going to go to one of the most important resources on campus, which is our Health Services Office. I think Mackie's going to talk about it while we're going there on the golf cart.
Sure, Tessa. The Health Services Department helps students while they're here on campus. We have nurse practitioners, physicians, and mental health and wellness counselors right here in Annandale-on-Hudson. We also connect students with local healthcare professionals as needed.
Thanks, Mackie. We've just pulled up to the Health Service building. It's what you can see behind me. And here we're talking to Alexis about some more student-run organizations that have to do with health and well-being on campus.
Thanks, Tessa. Hey everybody, I'm Alexis. I'm a recent BARD grad. I use she, her pronouns, and at BARD I was an American Studies major. Some things I did on campus is I was a tour guide. I ran a TLS project called the Community Engagement Arts Project, and I volunteered on a weekly basis because of that. And I was also a peer health educator, so I'm very familiar with health and wellness at BARD, and I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite programs that BARD does. So the first one is BARD EMS, or BARD Emergency Medical Services, and this is a group of students who are here to support you if you hurt yourself physically on campus and you need a quick response time. These students are trained EMTs. Another really awesome resource at BARD that we have is Brave. So Brave is a hotline for students, and a group of students are trained to have conversations with you about things regarding relationship issues, social anxiety, sexual abuse, mental health, etc. They're there to support you. They're on call 24/7. It's completely confidential. So those are just a few amazing things that BARD does. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much, guys.
That's great, Alexis. Tessa, are you heading to the Fisher Center?
Yeah, I'm headed there next to talk to Catherine about performing arts. Oh, hey Catherine. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about the Performing Arts Center and the dance program here at BARD?
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine and I'm a rising senior dance major at Bard. And right now I'm standing right outside the Sosnoff Theater, which is where we have our orchestra shows and where the Bard Conservatory rehearses and performs. Over here is the smaller Luma Theater, which is where we have department shows, which are directed either by faculty or outside directors. And we also have our student moderation and senior project dance and theater shows in there. All students have access to the space for rehearsals and performances. We have the Thorn and Fisher studios, which are bigger rehearsal spaces, and we also downstairs have the Nureyev and North studios, which are smaller. We've also been utilizing a lot of outdoor space for rehearsals and performances, which we'll go to right now at the Parliament of Reality. So right now I'm standing outside the Parliament of Reality, which was designed by Oliver Eliasson and houses a lot of dance, theater, and music outdoor performances.
And that's it for our campus tour. I want to thank Tessa, faculty, staff, current students, and alums for joining us along the route. If you have questions, please reach out to us at admission@bard.edu.